at 572-0383 or 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
It's now time for Meet the Minister, hosted by Terence Fenelon. Mr. Fenelon, good to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you, Andre. Good morning, Andre. Good to see you, Andre. How are you, by the way, Andre?
I'm all right. And thanks for the visit, by the way. And thanks for the hug. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're like a brother, Andre. I told you my eldest brother is Andre, so.
Yes, you did.
But I had to come and see you. On matters like this, you don't send a message. You have to be in person too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're holding up well, and we're thankful for that. Okay, we have a special baby Minister Honorable Casimir is with us this morning. We're going to talk a little thing, but let me say hello to our people on Facebook, YouTube, X.
That's right. We're online. And by the way, we have a new frequency now, 95.9 FM.
Right.
So reaching a lot further.
That's right. Somehow I'm not getting you online, Andre. I don't know why is that.
Yeah?
I'm on Facebook.
Rev-Up-Slu.com?
Yeah. For some reason I'm not getting you. But we are Andre. I'll fix it up. I'll get it.
You need a new phone.
Yeah, I need a new phone.
I say,
will you sponsor?
An upgrade.
Andre, you know the thing, So speak to the sponsors, man. Yeah. Andre,
you have a powerful person just across you there.
These guys in the of the back.
Tis the season to be asking.
It's Christmas time, Andre. Santa. Well, I heard there's no more Santa. There's Chandelier, no some more Santa, but that's good, Andre. So, but we're happy to be here. Now, let me apologize again for last week. The minister was on; it was very good. It's just that we had a problem with the lines, and the minister today, Honorable Casimir, has insisted that we open the lines because he wants to speak to his he wants his constituents to speak to him. So he's not running away, and so, ladies and gentlemen, we will be opening the lines early and stuff. But before we go on, Mr. Casimir, you know the topic du jour, the crying on demand. Andrew, the author of the 7-point plan, 7 initiative, could not defend himself last night when asked about how are you going to finance healthcare. Yeah. Because, Andre, $75,000 worth of healthcare for every solution is a chunk of change. And when he could not answer the question, he began to cry. Yeah. Honorable, you have seen the same. What are your thoughts on that?
Bedouin Kinson, welcome. Welcome.
Good morning, Andrew.
Nice to see you again.
Of course.
Looking well, as always.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You too, Andre. Andre has not aged a bit.
No, man. He's holding up strong.
I really want to know that secret because I work out 5 times a week. I eat well, pescatarian diet, and I still see the aging coming. I don't know if it's the politics, but the gray hairs appearing. So
maybe the politics.
Yeah, perhaps it's that it is. But we had a very, very good meeting last night in Corinth, so I left about 11 o'clock. But when I got home, I saw some of the machinations, I saw some of the conversation. I think at the end of the day, when you are in opposition, you're not in government, you can make certain pronouncements, but you really need to back up your pronouncement with a clear strategy. And that is what I believe the difference is between the opposition, the current opposition, United Workers' Party, and the St. Lucia Labour Party. We see an execution. We see a political leader in Philip J. Pierre who has a clear idea of finance, intimate knowledge of the economy and what will work. And so with every pronouncement made by Philip J. Pierre in opposition, including the creation of a youth economy, the investment in semi-pro, the investment in sports and facilities, there was a clear plan. There was always a clear plan, and so we can see the execution even beyond some of the promises made. And so when you now take a look at an opposition who is whose ambition is to lead this country, we hear different machinations. We hear a 7-point plan, but when we sit down and evaluate the practicality of it, how it is that you're going to finance it, how you are going to propose less revenue and then still maintain the economy and the economic growth that we've seen over the last 4 years. How? So when you make a decision that you're going to remove a health and security levy, and then you're going to have a big investment in health. Where is the money coming from?
That's right.
When you say to young people or to anybody who is forward thinking that you are going to expand the house, you're going to expand the facility, you're going to expand, and then the question becomes, where do you get the financing? And you cry. It just tells me that there is really not much of thought beyond the pronunciations and the machinations. So I feel like that is what we've seen. And even in my constituency of Grosley, when I go around, I was in the community of Grosley Town day before yesterday, and I was in the community of Corinth yesterday, both of which have told me that they've heard from the opposition, they've heard pronouncements, but there is no clear implementation plan, no detail, no sort of information on how it is, a timeline for execution, while they can see in me execution beyond the expectations. The road network execution beyond anybody's expectation. The youth and sports development of this country execution beyond just pronunciations. Because it's easy to talk. The easiest thing a human being can do is talk. Before a year, anybody can talk.
Yeah.
But is to actually execute on behalf of the people. And that is what I believe my record is in the constituency of Grosley and my ministerial portfolio.
In your little preamble there, you said two things that Titus Privilege said before you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right? When you talk about the Prime Minister and his measure and stuff,
Yeah.
you also made a statement that this guy said something and he did not think it through.
Absolutely.
And Titus Privilege told us so that Shasney is somebody who cannot think things through. So when you say that you're going to give $75,000 in health insurance, you cannot explain how you're going to finance that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of his disciples said they're going to use CIP, but CIP, as one of our economists said, that's a lottery.
Mm-hmm.
You never guaranteed. 1 month you may have 300 applications, another month 500, another month 0. So you're going to depend on that to finance stuff. So, I mean, it's pie in the sky. We know it's the same old découché stuff that he's recycling, but he cannot. And last night was pathetic. When he was asked, how? What are you going to do? I mean, the man was all over the place. He talked about he saw this and that and that. So there's no clear plan, there's no vision, there's no route to how you're going to finance that. You cannot say that. So solutions are going to tell you reject that in total. Reject those things in total because there's no plan, there's no thinking as to how you're going to get us there. At this, before our Prime Minister, measured.
Absolutely. Very measured.
Universal healthcare, free prostate screening.
Step by step.
Step by step.
Step by step.
Correct, because we don't have oil like Guyana. We're doing it step by step. As the economy improves, he says things are going to get better. So he started with the 80 plus.
Absolutely.
The 80 plus.
Yeah.
Men can get the prostate screening free. Ladies, the breast cancer free. The medications are made available regardless of what they said, because my pharmacist has told me that there is adequate medicine because he has the payables.
Yeah.
He has done that. So very good. But let's go.
But everything, just let me add to that quickly, and because I sit down and I marvel as what some would consider me a rookie and novice. This is my first tool. What I have realized most that has impressed me about Honorable Philip J. Pierre is the scientific research, the scientific analysis, the logistical analysis of how he's going to execute things. And I'll give you an example, because I know we're going to delve into it very soon. The Castries-Grosley Highway, the Sir Julian R. Hunt Highway. I mean, there were so many machinations, so many thoughts on how to execute it. But as Minister of Infrastructure, he felt like, okay, this is a massive undertaking, massive economic undertaking. And he endeavored to engage the Kuwaiti government for a loan. And then at the end of the day, when you look at the topography of Grosley, there are so many different avenues you can use to get to Castries from the different communities on the eastern side of Grosley. And I mean, when you look at the difference in somebody who is just going to, that's just a perfect example of somebody who thinks things through and somebody who is just going to wake up one day and say, boy, we have traffic on Groseley Road, let's just do this. I mean, you saw a previous government that just started works on the highway from Radri into Rodney Bay, Kilago, a roundabout head and a roundabout not there, and then we are going to switch this up because there's a new development expected. But no, this was not the method of Philip J. Pierre as the Minister of Infrastructure. We endeavor to first and foremost deal with the feeder roads.
Right.
Because you have to understand the population of Groseley. You have close to 40,000 people living in that constituency. You have over 60,000 vehicles traversing that road on a daily basis. How do you just start this particular area without no plan, no clear design, no financing mechanism that we could clearly understand, and just drop it on people? Here's the difference. The Philip J. Pierre administration went to the Kuwaiti government, secured the loan, and the ambition was to first start the feeder roads on the eastern side of Groseley. So you saw and you've seen right now the commencement of work at Norbe Visikwi, however, expanding that road, ensuring that you have dual carriage, and then once that road is complete, you then go from Monjiro into Cap Estate. Monjiro, which is the entrance to Moshi, all the way to where we're building the state-of-the-art police station for the people of the constituents of Groseley. Another project that is clearly identified, financed, and then it takes you through Bonte. It takes you through in front of the marina, all the way in front of Bank of St. Lucia into where the Groseley police station is. So by that way, you can get off and on the road through a slipper lane, so to speak, at your whim once it's clear and safe to do so. So once you clear that way, you then go from Shock into Monjiro. Fall in, developed, done in a proper way with less hassle. There will be hassles, but less hassle for commuters. So it's just a difference in the way.
What about the Monsiton to Rev-Up?
Oh my God. Well, I guess we're going into that.
Yes.
I mean, again, another road that on the eastern side to open up the actual island, so to speak. You have a situation where everybody goes on the west. So from the time you leave Groseley town, you stay on the western side to go to Castries. Right. What we've done is we've implemented and it's a clear plan. We've invested on the eastern side of the constituency into Babylon. So you see from Monsiton, which leads you very close to Lague and Plateau, you see a dual carriage road again. From Monsitor, go down into Deramo, Tidofe, into Riviera, and then you get into Lafayette. I mean, at the end of the day, once you get into Lafayette, you still don't have to go on the western side, you know.
That's right.
You go through Beausejour. You go to Lafayette, Kaimage, again, dual carriage. And then you see step by step how this government is working to ensure that the lives of people and the economic activities flow better. Clear plans, clear financing, clear strategy, clear implementation. That is what I love about my Prime Minister.
So you're telling your constituents of Groseley, the commuters, patience, everything is for them.
Patience. And the fact of the matter is, they've seen the vision, what I've just elocuted there, and they see the execution of it on the ground, and they know the benefits of it. That is why I am beyond confident that I'm going to win, and the St. Lucia Labour Party is going to stay in government to continue that great work we've started, especially in the north.
So the road network in Babylon, in Groseley is coming on. And I could tell you I've traversed the Monsiton to, because cricket was on, and that is the road I use.
Absolutely.
And trust me, that is, I said it here, it's not a back road anymore, Andre. That's a highway. Carpet. Right through. Wow. You know that? And I never had to go on the highway, etc.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate that many people do not use it because I suspect they're still afraid. But I could guarantee you that road is wide, you could travel, it's a highway.
But let me give you the next part of the plan. You made an interesting point. A lot of people don't use it because, of course, they knew that it was a single carriage. So we've expanded it now to a dual carriage. And then, of course, with the contractor, we're going to make it as safe as possible. The next step is to ensure that we have the TVCs, television commercials, the actual implementation of a communication plan to actually show the rest of St. Lucia how they can get up north by using that eastern sort of roadway.
And it's very scenic.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's
you
a
see
beautiful place to pass.
Beautiful place. You pass through Babon or you pass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful, Andre. You could see, take pictures of the north, and it's wonderful. That has been opened up. That has been opened up.
Absolutely.
And I think people don't be afraid. It's no longer as frightening. It's no longer a back road. These are highways that you could use. Yeah. So we're doing all of that in Rosalie. Let's talk sport. But before we go to the thing, I noticed the Prime Minister received a check from the Taiwanese, and in that allocation was $1 million to furnish schools, sportsmen and women, and institutions with gear. Tell us about that.
Very important. We know that we've had the challenges globally with inflation, and we know at the end of the day, if you want any young person to be involved in sport, they have to be equipped with the gear that they need to actually ply their trade in sport. So the Honorable Prime Minister, in his budget, indicated that he was going to find $1 million to ensure that in each constituency we can provide basics in terms of footballs, because we know football is expensive. Football before we came in and removed VAT on sports equipment was $200, $250 for a proper ball. So I mean, this has happened again because we don't produce balls in St. Lucia. We have to buy it from overseas. So the Prime Minister saw that. I mean, in his community, he just started his football competition last Sunday, by the way. You should take in some of that at Marsha Grounds, newly refurbished as well. And he understood the plight of these young people. We see we have a situation, an issue with individuals not going to play in fields as much as they did before, simply because it became expensive. I mean, naturally. So the Prime Minister made the announcement, and again, we engaged our good friends in Taiwan. We explained what the situation was, and we have on the waters now close to $1 million of sporting equipment coming to St. Lucia, and to distribute some to the schools, some on the ground in the communities, some to the associations, just to ensure that buzz we have in sport right now. Have you been following the Kings? Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, that buzz that we have in sport in St. Lucia continues to flourish from the grassroots up.
I must big up Akim, our youngster, who has developed nicely. I mean, Kiman is my boy. But I have to admit that Akim is doing very well. And
very well.
And his stroke, I mean, I could see a test player in this young man, because he's playing
player.
Proper cricketing shots.
Absolutely.
I mean, he shifts up nicely.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping that he will pull through to the big leagues.
And we have others coming along very nicely. Keon Gastor coming along.
This boys from Monroe. Oh yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And so we see the benefit again of another implementation project that was novel, never done in St. Lucia's history, the High Performance Center for Cricket. We did not have that. Cricket, in terms of sport, is the fastest way to create millionaires in sport in St. Lucia. There is no other sport that can take you there as quickly as cricket can.
Because of the proliferation of the T20 leagues and everything else.
Absolutely. So if you look at Kiana Joseph as a woman
I watched her
cricket,
yesterday.
Exactly, playing T20.
Our girl Zeda got injured on the field, but she'll
be back. She'll be back. Let me tell you, Pitikopa Maladi, level do sir. Zeda is that. Exactly.
So, as a swimmer, will I be eligible for part of that $1 million, man?
As a swimmer? Of course. We're making our interventions.
I'm just kidding. An old man like me, how to pasture. But you see, the important thing is this: JD from the south.
Yeah, from Labrie. Attended shows.
You heard what she said. She told her father, "You always see me in that motorcade because Juju."
Yeah,
Juju inspiration. And Juju's in action this weekend?
Yes, she is from 5 o'clock on a Saturday. We will be seeing her in the preliminaries of 100 meter. I think at the end of the day, we have something very, very unique happening in St. Lucia as it pertains to our sprinters. Juju is, of course, exceptional, and we've seen Naomi London breaking Julian Alfred's youth record.
Yes.
And then we have a situation where JD Emmanuel is coming along and is on course to break Naomi London's record, who broke Julian Alfred's record. And of course we have Asia Lorenzen, who is doing the hurdles. Of course, a good find for St. Lucia, of course. And so we do have 4 individuals that we can look out for. In terms
Hopefully
of
we are really team at some point.
Absolutely. A formidable and a force on the global stage in our future.
And I think that's where that $1 million investment in the youth in sporting equipment, because some of them cannot. I must tell you, I got my friends by the beach to sponsor some balls for school.
Absolutely.
A ball is $158, size 5.
Yes,
That's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
When VAT was on that would have been
a bit more expensive, yes. So the VAT was removed. So, the swimmers, we swim every morning.
Yeah.
And I made an appeal. They contributed, and I was able to get 4, and the supplier gave 1 free. We donated to a school for the football competition. So, I mean, you could see that is somebody who is thinking things through. So
Absolutely.
that $1 million, I think.
Absolutely. And we're seeing more of the community coming on board in terms of our sports development thrust, because we need administrators. We don't need the footballers to be playing football and then being PRO of like a Moshi FC. You have a complete difference. You have the administrators not being players and just, investing their time volunteering to see the sport develop and that sort of thing. And so, the financing of sport in terms of equipment is very, very important as well.
So let's go back to the $80 million guarantee.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's say you stole.
You said I invested 40, you do what feel.
I mean, to hear Spider kill you and to hear you give Spider. We can remember that. But I go in around, I've traveled, well, the limited travel around the island. I'm seeing some serious work being done on the sporting facilities. And I know the highlight. The highlight is Grosley. Let's leave Grosley. It's no longer the mini stadium. It's the Francis Lastic Grounds. Baba Lastic Grounds.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the investment in the sporting infrastructure.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
The fact that every investment that we are making could be consumed, can be viewed, can be seen. A stone's throw away from here, you would drive in front of the VG
playing field,
and you would see that there is an investment in the facility. I mean, you would pass by Leclerc, you would see that the generator room has already been built, and you're expecting to see some works being done on the footing for the lights.
I can talk to Masha.
You go to Masha, you see the Mindo Phillip Park transformed.
Even the James Belgrave Court has been redone.
Yes. You seen in Masha the roofing, you seen it elevated, you seen it's different from what it was. The vandals are no longer, they can no longer hit
yes.
And then the Mindo Phillip Park, brand new LED lights, similar to what we have at brand new. We have a state-of-the-art gym that we're about to open from both Boseju and the Mindo Phillip Park. I mean, the stands, the sit in the roof. When we came in, I mean, Mindo Phillip Park was totally sidelined because of a Belrose doctrine. A venue that every single person involved in sport could testify to the usage of. And I mean, then you go down south, you have Labry, you have Oji works in ancillary canneries. You have the Jack Bell playing field. Lights about to be installed there. You have the Vanna Court. You have the Otabo Court. You have canneries playing field. You have ancillary playing field due for another investment. I mean, we have our footprint all over. When playing field in Monrepo, let me tell you, Jeremiah from day one has been on it in terms of putting lights. The surface of that field is almost ready. We'll be having a lighting ceremony there very, very soon. I mean, every single constituency, if you go to Cicero, sitting, LED lights, proper surface. I mean, if you go, everywhere, even in Choiseul. Even I ain't got my constituency yet. Even in Choiseul, the lights, we had to change the lights at the Lafargue playing field as a government. And I challenge anybody to go to Deriso right now and look at the Deriso. That's Miku South. This is the difference between the Labour Party, Miku South, a seat not won by the Labour Party. Go and look at that Deriso court right now. And I have before and after pictures that I have not even displayed anywhere to see the investment there. And of course, we have in Viewfort, you have the Bellevue field lights. We'll be working on Piero as well. I mean, every single constituency can testify to the development of some sporting.
So let's go to Grosley.
So Grosley, it would be remiss of me as the Minister of Sport, and I mean, I make no apologies. I believe Grosley is not. I believe it is a fact that Grosley is 4 seats in one. If you look at the electorate in Grosley, you're looking at close to, let's just say, 26,000 voters. If you look at Dennery South, with 5,600 voters. So if you look at the largest and the smallest, and if you look at the mean, you're looking at about 7,500 votes. So Grosile is essentially 4 seats in one. Grosile has had 4 venues. 4. You had the Grosile playing field, you had the Moshi playing field, you had the Grand Riviere playing field, and the Corinth playing field. It hurt me. I'm somebody who is an underground person. I drive around my constituency, where I, as a Minister of Sport, have to look at the state of these facilities for so many years and get in as the minister and the MP and not have some intervention there. So you saw the works at the Grand Riviere playing field. I mean, a beautiful facility, and people did not see it. Beautiful surface. We have a beautiful community center that can accommodate VIPs, the balcony. And of course, we did the wall along the road. We did not want to block off the entire road, so we kept the little metal there. But we understood that to maintain the facility, you need to bring in revenue. So we created the advertising base, of which you see advertisers actually coming in. That revenue is what's going to be used and what's being used to maintain the facility. Goes right back into the facility. Corinth playing field. Corinth has been asking, that's Marishill. I knew there was Marishill growing up. There's been so much football at Marishill. From the time you see December come, 6 o'clock dark, everybody at their home. And these people were asking for lights for so long. So much family in Marishill and Bois de Rouge, in those little areas. I know the history of that place. And I felt we had to have lights there. And so we ensured that we put solar lights on that facility. Moshi, we've seen the intervention for the lights on that facility. Another area with so much talent that is on the eastern side of Grosile that requires attention, that did not receive enough attention, especially as it pertains to sport. So we ensured we invested in it. And now Grosile Town. Historically, the mecca of real sports in Grosile. Historically. And I felt as the MP that we did not want to have an opening of a facility just to pretty much speak on the beauty of what we put there, but really celebrate the individuals, the history of sport in Grosile. So with Grosile, we ensured that we worked on the seating for too long. As soon as you come and watch football in Grosile, you have to be, some people have to run to the cemetery, run here, run there to shelter, and then that's it for any sporting event happening. So we ensured that we had a nice, beautiful stands with a proper sitting, bathroom, a washroom facility, and of course, vending facility. We renamed that stands the Alton Crafton stands. And for those of you who know the development of sport in Grosile, that Northern Cluster Grassroots Cricket Program have been the actual laboratory of individual cricketers. I mean, captains of West Indies, including Kimani Melius. I mean, most of the individuals came from that grassroots cricket program. So he's done a lot of work over the last 20 years, a former Windward Islands player, former captain of St. Lucia, and he's somebody who's contributed to sports. So we've renamed that stands the Alton Crafton stands. Of course, Francis Lastic, there was no doubt in most people's minds in terms of not just being captain of St. Lucia football team for close to 10 years and playing professional football overseas and that sort of thing, but his impact on the next generation of footballers and just generally those individuals that would have been on the blocks that he pulled into his Lastic Football Academy on the Grosile playing field over the last 20 years. Most of the footballers that have made the national team from Grosile has played with Francis Lastic or been part of his team. He's under his tutelage at some point. And so we felt the need to name the facility after him. And that same facility, we have a number of individuals that we've highlighted on the walls. And we have even more names that are coming up. And I've said, you see the conversation, Bolawi, about the persons in the 70s and the 60s. And I just give my disclaimer. There was no documentation, objective documentation of the accomplishments of these individuals. We've heard the different conversations, and we're going to eventually infuse some of the others in that wall of fame that we've created around the Grosile playing field. But those individuals that are there, well-documented national figures. We're looking at Michael Joseph, an Olympian from Grosley, John Eugene, perhaps one of the best batsmen
we have produced, yes.
exactly in Grosley, in St. Lucia's history.
Yeah.
I mean, Akimogis is making a claim to that very much. You see that, John.
Yes.
I mean, you look at, of course, we said Alton Craft and Elijah Joseph in football. And of course, we had to highlight our women. I mean, Sabina, I mean, Cello, I mean, Samantha. I mean, these are very, very good people. Terry Woodant, the multipurpose court. We renamed the multipurpose court the Terry Woodant multipurpose court because of his work and what he's passed on to the next generation. And of course, Charlie Sonson, we renamed the road in and around the Grosley playing field, the Charlie Sonson Drive. So we not only invested in the infrastructure, but the human nature of sport in the constituency of Grosley. Another thing that was not done for so many years growing up in that community that I figured we needed to do.
Yeah, tremendous work. We are astounded.
Can I want to ask Kenton a question?
Yes.
Kenton,
Andrew, go ahead, ask a question.
That constituency, the Grosley constituency, that is a huge constituency.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious to know, what is your secret in terms of how you manage that constituency? How do you keep a relationship with your constituents, especially in the Cap Estate area? I said it because, I mean, whenever I drive through Cap Estate, it's a gated community. I don't really see anybody there. How do you manage that?
I call it the Andre Paul method.
Really?
Andre and I had a little secret when I worked at Radio 100, LNFM. You know, we are early risers, Andre.
That's for sure.
We wake up before the sun. So 4:45 o'clock, I am up, workout out of the way. And I'm not somebody who's going to stay in the gym for an hour. Not my style at all. A lot of people look at me and they figure, boy, me say heavy plonk. That has never been me. As a matter of fact, when I used to go to Fitness Freaks, they had a nickname for me. They called me Dumbbells because I used strictly dumbbells. And I do a lot of repetition because, of course, my body structure is naturally big. So I do more reps than heavy weights. And then immediately after that, I start my work, Andre. Because you cannot deal with a constituency the size of Grosley working from 9 to 5 o'clock. You will fail miserably. The fact of the matter is, my entire journey in sport never allowed me to work or to have an 8-hour shift. I was a footballer at the national level. I was a cricketer at the national level. I was a sprinter at the national level. At the same time, Andre. At the same time. So even when I started working, a lot of people believe I just turned 21, and I just turned 21, so how I get what I get, like I didn't work for 20 years before I came into government. 20 years I worked before I came into government. I never worked one job. I came to Radio 100 early in the morning, read it along with Andre's News 45 Major. I went on to start my work in terms of gathering my information for my newscast later on that night. And I had most of that out of the way before 8 o'clock.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. So by 8:15, I started my work as a youth and sports officer in the ministry. So most of my dynamics were done during that day. At lunchtime, I would go and record my sports show for the night. And at same lunch hour, I would read, I would do different things for my page, St. Lucia Sports Online. And so at the end of the day, by the time it's 10, 11 o'clock in the night, I'm gathering all my information again to do it over. That's the same MO I've brought into this professional life. If you listen to all the conversation about me in my constituency in St. Lucia, one word comes out: work. He is a worker. And that's a fact. So I've brought in that same energy into my ministerial and parliamentary career.
That work ethic.
That work ethic. So I get into office. Most of the times I start my different works on my laptop at home, on my phone at home. I get into office. I go to the ministry sometimes. Most times I work from my office in Bois. I do what I need to do, get everything together in terms of my CDP allocation, what projects I need to do, make calls to the Prime Minister, make calls to my PS, to the NLA, to everybody, to make sure we are executing well. And then I spend the afternoon on the ground somewhere, checking out the projects, checking out what's happening in the community, trying to connect with as many people as possible. They still have people that will call me and curse me and tell me, I call you the and something. I mean, I'm busy all throughout the day trying to work out everything, balance everything.
But I'm especially curious to know the Cap Estate area. How do you connect
in terms of Cap Estate, we have a town council. So there are structures that people do not often like to use. We have the Groseley Constituency Council. Capes State requires a lot of attention in terms of the bushes and clearing up on the other side of the roads, and then a lot of the times road maintenance. Capes State is huge. If you have to take a drive every road in Capes State, you will be amazed by the amount of roads we have in Capes State. The challenge with Capes State is you have so many different pockets of settlements that are far away from each other. So you would find you have a mile of road that goes to 4 or 5 houses. Then another mile of road there, or 2 miles that are 10 houses. So with Capes State, you try your best to maintain roads as much as possible and invest in roads. Now, there are some roads that we have down on our program to execute in Capes State because we know the Capes State people, that's the one thing they want. And they've had some issues with water. Most of them have built cisterns and that sort of thing to actually mitigate against that. But it is an area that is so far removed from everything. The main thing we did when I came in was that road in Massad in front of the police station that we are doing, fresh, brand new to the gate and to Pigeon Island for the people of Capes State. Main road. A lot of the roads are private roads. I do not believe that you don't give them attention. So we've tried working with Cabot from time to time to patch some of the roads that we need to with the Ministry of Infrastructure to make it as motorable as possible. And before Capes State people hung me, I do know that we have roads like all other places in the constituency that we've not gotten to yet. But as the MP, I can tell you in 4 years from day one, I have been working assiduously to deal with all the road networks in my constituency. I'm just not able to touch all of them as yet. Rome was not built in a day, neither was Groseley, even if they all think I'm Superman.
well, you just said you were, Now, let me tell you, you said, you mentioned Massad and something just clicked. I did not want to go there anyway. I'm trying not to give the other side any kind of prominence. But when you sat there, your opponent sat there and displayed a level of ignorance about the community that I had not seen. I could not believe, I couldn't fathom. Did not know the name of the boys' training center. Did not know that there are shelters for the girls. And I mean,
it's really sad because, I mean, when you live in a constituency for so many years, I think you should, if you want to represent them, you should have an intimate knowledge, at least of the basic facilities, amenities that are there to help people.
That's right.
People-centered facilities. At the very least, you should know where they are, especially if you come from a corporate background. It would indicate that if you knew, it would have said to me that you've made contributions to them, you've sponsored their activities, you've understood the necessity of this pivotal institutions. The New Beginning Transit Home that we have for ladies, which is similar to the Boys Training Center. It's in Kazaba, my brother.
Don't say where it is.
It's in Kazaba.
Don't give the location.
Kazaba is 2 minutes away from Capes State. Which from all indications, I mean, you've said to people, this is where you live for the last 20 years. It is 2 minutes away. So when somebody sits next to you and says there's no facility for young girls in St. Lucia, your first impulse would say, no, there's the New Beginning Transit Home in Kazaba, 2 minutes, 3 minutes drive away from where I live. The mere fact that you cannot even answer that,
it
says a lot, not just about what you've been doing or not been doing, but it says that you've not really come to grips with the length and breadth of the work that is required for you to be the MP for Groseley. Yours truly, I can say for myself, I have sponsored activities at the New Beginning Transit Home every year since I've been the parliamentary rep for Groseley. They had a situation with the road network to the New Beginning Transit Home. Yours truly, the government of St. Lucia, the Minister of Infrastructure, Honorable Stevenson King, financed by the Ministry of Finance, the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, with MP Kenson Kazimi, built a fresh road to the New Beginning Transit Home, existing in our constituency. Yet somebody would say right here that there is no facility for women. And we have 4 of them in St. Lucia.
Yes.
And 1, 2 minutes
from where you reside. The level of ignorance and stuff.
I felt it was
Grossly, people should take note of that, because if you don't know basic things in your community, but you present yourself to represent. I mean, I don't want to hit you, Mr. Johnson, but I have no choice. I have no choice.
To be very honest, I feel like I've done enough in Grizzly. I think the people are so confident that they've selected the right person to represent them on all facets. I'm not perfect. I'm not Jesus Christ by any stretch of the imagination, but I wake up every day working for the people of Grizzly. So I feel at the end of the day, this night and day, there are always going to be talkers in this world, and there are going to be workers. And I know for sure that I fall into the category of a worker.
Andre, we want our lines to be on because Ichi last week, I'm sorry about that. I have to apologize again to you, Ichi. Not our fault. But Andre, the lines are clear. Both the WhatsApp and the direct line. Maybe you could give the numbers because the minister wants to take questions. He's not running away. He's here. And he wants to answer your questions. So just give the...
Somebody just told me, I just looked at my phone for a little while, somebody told me, you didn't mention Philip Masley Grounds. We did brand new lights at Philip Masley Grounds. You didn't mention Central Castries. We built in brand new courts and at the gardens.
I mean, have this book about the semi-professional leagues that are on, you know what I mean?
I mean, everybody's going to start sending what we've done in the constituencies. I mean, we're doing the Bagatelle Court right now in Castries East. I mean, so
but Andrew,
let me give the numbers because you already have calls.
Somebody lined up there already?
Yeah, both lines. But let me give the numbers nonetheless. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710. That's the fixed line. Or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. That's where you have your first call.
Just now, before you call, just let me, again, housekeeping. Question, no speeches. Frame your question because we have a lot of people online, okay? So, yes, good morning. Thanks for calling me the minister. Let's have your question.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah, the person is not there?
Am I supposed to put my headphones?
We have to put our headphones.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Yeah. You know, sometimes we get complacent here. Okay, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for calling me the minister.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Two questions. Quick questions for the minister.
It's a little low, Andre. I don't
No,
know.
he's fine.
Okay, on your end.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
You guys ready? Okay.
Yes.
Good. Question number one, Mr. Minister. There are no certified playing fields for athletics in St. Lucia at this time. That's number one. The Soufre playing field, to get certified, you require a certain amount of money to bring it up to standard. So the question now becomes, how soon are you going to get the finance? And how soon can you get that field up to standard? That's question number one.
That's
to
number
world
two.
standard. Oh, no. And the next question. Between your ministry and the Ministry of Education, is there any way for these two ministries to ensure that the school you have in Grosile for the, how you call them, for the athletes, how you call that school again?
Sports Academy.
The academy, very good. We cannot only be training young people for athletics only. Are you and the Ministry of Education able to train people to be referees, to be umpires, to be sports administrators, and so on and so on? Is that something that you could look at? Thank you. I'll hang up. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your question.
I'm trying to remember the first question because he said two, but then he said the Soufre Mini Stadium, but he did have a question before that.
He said we don't have, I think, grounds certified or something.
Yeah, that was about the Soufre Mini Stadium. Oh, say track and field. Track and field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me address the track and field question. Very good question, caller. First and foremost, I think we know the history of the George Odlum Stadium. The fact of the matter is we did have George Odlum as an Olympic standard stadium in terms of track, and we understand the history of what happened in terms of the fire that caused that venue to pretty much be used as a hospital. I can tell you, we as the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, the Minister of Finance, did indicate to all of St. Lucia and did sign in the presence of everybody that deal to get financing for the completion of St. Jude and, of course, the reconstruction of the George Odlum Stadium. That's from the Saudis. The Saudis gave us that loan, guaranteed that loan. So we are very close to moving out of the George Odlum Stadium in terms of the completion of St. Jude. Thereafter, immediately thereafter, you will see work ongoing for that facility in terms of ensuring that it is certified and brought back up to standard. So we will have, for all intents and purposes, we will have a certified 400-meter track for our athletes in St. Lucia once that is complete. I will add, and of course, people always say it's a North versus South thing, but it's always about reaching the young people. I am one of those who believe we need a 400-meter track in the north of the island, simply because most of the secondary schools are in the north of the island, most of the population is in the north of the island, and I'm always going to propose whether or not is just a track be laid at Beausejour for athletes to actually have that, and of course eventually mushroom it into having at least one stands so we can actually have our inter-schools competition on the north of the island. Super Mini Stadium, I will say very, 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 very quickly that we inherited a stadium that was badly built in terms of the track, the layout of the track. We had a situation where the long jump area was placed on the D. And if you know what the D is, it would be where you have the curve for the track. We never have long jump on that area. We have it on the length of the track, where you have the 100 meters somewhere along that, simply because of the run-up. You want to have a run-up that allows you to sprint and jump, especially for triple jump as well. So that was badly designed. I was told the previous administration did not consult in a meaningful way the technocrats at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and that is why we had that situation. Since I've been in, we've been working really hard to remedy that situation. We know that we had a situation that when we came in, that there were plenty of equipment that we could not find. We knew we had a list of equipment, including this thing around the perimeter that we had to implement and put, that we could not find. I think after a few years of really probing, we were able to find it, and so we will be doing that very soon. The screen we will be putting up very soon, and we've had, with the director of sports, we've had visits from the certification agency to provide the advice, the technical support, and we're expecting the certification of the Soufriere Mini Stadium very, very soon as well. The Sports Academy. The Sports Academy has been, for me as a Minister of Sport, the dynamics of the Sports Academy is a little bizarre for me. And I've said it to the Cabinet of Ministers, I've said it to the Minister of Education, I've said it to the Prime Minister, that it's a little bizarre. Because here you have a Sports Academy that falls under the ambit of the Ministry of Education. It does not fall under the Ministry of Sports. We inherited it that way. So in terms of the advice, in terms of the actual lead agency, the lead agency is the Ministry of Education. So any implementation of what the caller is indicated has to be done by the Ministry of Education. I have proposed a different iteration for the academy. The current government was not minded to go in the direction that I had. I believe, as the Minister of Sport, that I should have the overall vision that I have for sports development be placed at the Sports Academy and still have the learning component for our young people, which is exactly what is being recommended here. Training in sports administration, training in refereeing, training in the different dynamics of sports. But that is currently not what we have now. Have I had millions of conversations with the Minister of Education and, of course, the Ministry of Education to have different things being done? There's always a difference of opinion in terms of the exact execution, but currently the Sports Academy continues to be managed by the Ministry of Education. So going forward, I mean, you never know. We may be able to find the accredited institutions coming into St. Lucia to provide those courses for our young people, but we found that the actual intake of people, of students going into the Sports Academy, not the biggest. We do not have a population of 300 or 400 like we have at the different secondary schools. It's a smaller population, so you've not had the other training institutions really come in to provide that certification.
Okay, thanks for holding on, caller. Welcome
Thanks
to
for
Meet the
having
Ministers.
me.
Yes.
Andre, accept my sympathy on the passing of your brother.
Thank you.
You are a pillar for us, and your brother was a beautiful soul. So here's to you and your family. I hope that God carries you through the time of grief and sorrow right now. Mr. Casimir, I am a resident of Rodney Bay. I am not complaining about the noise pollution. I am not complaining about whatever else other people are complaining about. I need some time with you because there are lots of activities in and around Rodney Bay that are affecting my property. I cannot access my property without having to go through someone else's property. I now am overrun with rats because of the filth in Rodney Bay, the stray animals in Rodney Bay. I have gone to the Ministry of Infrastructure. I have written letters on my personal issue, which I am not going to air right now on the air. There is not one person, not from the minister, not from the chief engineer, not from the PS, and I have been walking the length and breadth of this island to get somebody to give me some attention. I've been a member of Rodney Bay for 50 years. I've seen all the development around me. And I have to say I am being affected in the most egregious way. So I need some time with you so that you can allay my concerns and help me with a way forward. Is there a way that I can get in touch with you other than through this medium?
Okay, all right. The answer to that question is yes. We do have a mechanism where we actually, through our constituency office, set up appointments. The constituency in terms of the population is so vast that we only have 24 hours in a day. So we have to spread the appointments over a few days. But
your time is as valuable as mine.
Yes. So
I
generally,
understand that.
you get to the constituency office, you give your name, your contact information, and they would fit in a time and day for us to actually have that conversation, whether it be I come to your area, more than likely, given what you've been speaking about, we would actually drive up to you to actually assess why it is that you don't have access to your property, because that would be an issue of planning that we've had to deal with in different parts of the constituency, or whether it is a sit down that I need to take really, really copious notes about to see how we can have the different interventions.
It is a situation where you have to take copious notes.
Okay. All right.
It is
So
a situation
where is your office? Where is your
the
office?
office is located. The office is located at Boadawaj, opposite Sunbuilt, right next to FDL. So you can go in there and you can speak to the receptionist / secretary there. We also have a Facebook page, Grosley Constituency Office on Facebook, that you can send in your information right there, and you will be getting a response. We've actually set up and employed somebody whose actual responsibility is to respond to people's concerns and to hear from people and get as much information for the parliamentary rep as possible. So you can also try to access and get an appointment through that means. We've been trying our really best to meet as many people as possible to see how we can provide that level of relief. So these are your options, and hopefully we can deal with that as soon as possible.
All right.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your call, my lady. All right, we have another caller. Thanks for calling, Mr. Minister. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Minister. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, my brother.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm
Hey,
good.
Mr. Minister, regarding motorsports,
Oh, let's
I
go
have
there.
to give you your blues on there. Man, the previous government took our Kakabeth,
Yeah.
and there's no way for these guys to let out their testosterone and measure who have the fastest car. They do it, they're endangering the public when they try to do it on the roads, the highway.
Yes.
These fellas put a white elephant down there and mash up the Kakabeth. Every Corpus Christi, everybody know all roads lead to Viewfort. National holiday, December 13th, all roads to Viewfort. Where can we get something in motorsports?
Okay.
Drag racing, drifting, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, Andre, that people do not see. So at the end of the day, they'll just see something happening and they'll believe that it just happened. But we've been working assiduously as it pertains to motorsports. I will tell you the first thing I did as minister. We actually created in the entire group, the only one it's the envy of other sports ministers, an alternative sports sector in our ministry to deal with those sporting disciplines that are non-traditional in the sense that, track and field and football and cricket. But most of the other sports, including motorsports, would have been sidelined because they are not considered to be the traditional sport. So we actively created that sector in our ministry, and that is being replicated by other sports ministers as we speak. Within that section, the mandate has been given to that individual who is the alternative sports officer to do all the necessaries to ensure that the alternative sports of motorsport is given as much attention as possible. And you were right in saying the previous government, they just, for some reason, that area that they used to use for drag racing became unavailable to young men and women who have the need for speed. And so what we've endeavored to do is to find a location. I will tell you, many times, as a minister who is up north, you know that there are some things that are pretty much appreciated more in the south, and that's drag racing. So we've had a number of site visits to identify an alternative area for drag racing. I can inform the caller that we have identified the area. I can also inform the caller that we have the designs for the actual drag racing track in the south. I can also indicate to the caller that we have the costings for that drag racing track in the south. And I can also indicate that, but to put some pressure on some people that are going to say, boy, you throw it back on, right? I can also indicate that the design, that the cost, that all of this is currently on the desk of the Director of Finance. So all that is left to do is for the finance mechanism to be put in place for us to execute on behalf of drag racers in St. Lucia. You will see further pronouncements of that very, very soon, because I know they did it right, fast, quick, and in a hurry.
And drivers don't use the highways to drag race and stuff.
Let me just indicate something else. I've had meetings with prospective insurers to actually start a program with the Motor X Association in St. Lucia on safe driving. So you start the program from the schools. We have a situation all over St. Lucia where people are asking me for speed bumps. And you have to ask yourself, is that the answer? Or should we be working on the mindset from earlier on people as it pertains to driving safely? So I've been seeking sponsorship from an insurer. I've had a very good conversation with one of them. They will be listening. To actually start a program in collaboration with the association in St. Lucia in the secondary schools about safe driving, and of course fuse it with the association of the drivers, the teachers of driving, to ensure that we have some mechanism to increase the level of safe driving in St. Lucia. And then when they get to the track, do your thing.
That's right.
Terry, we'll take 2 more calls.
Okay, Andre is very strict today, so that's the penultimate call. Welcome, caller. Thanks for calling me, the minister.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. We're hearing you.
I have 3 questions for Mr. Kenson.
Okay, let's have them quickly.
First question, I want to know how much money was allocated for the stadium and the hospital?
Which hospital?
That's question number 1. The St. Jude's Hospital.
Okay. Now we heard you. Next question.
I'm waiting for the answer.
No. Next question.
It'll take
Next
very
question.
long if you do it that way.
Well, next question is, what is how much money is allocated for the stadium to renovate the Beaufort Stadium, the football stadium? And I want to know how much was allocated for the cricket stadium in Jersey, because from what I can see is that the Beaufort Stadium needs more attention than the stadium in Boseju, and I want to know if the figures are right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So the government of St. Lucia, I don't have my information. I'm doing it off my head, people. I'm going to preface it by saying that we're doing it off my head, so I'm subject to correction. We entered into a loan agreement with the Saudis. You know what? I think it's dangerous to guess. But I know for sure the allocation for the George Odlum Stadium would be about between $20 and $25 million to renovate.
EC or US?
US, I
US,
think.
okay.
Yeah, for the George Odlum Stadium in Viewfort. That is after St. Jude's is removed.
The transition.
And then to, of course, work on the track, the sitting, the toilets, making it comfortable for people. Then Viewfort Stadium, I suspect he is speaking of, is he talking about the Philip Masterley grounds, or I suspect he's talking about St. Jude's.
Well,
if he's
yes,
talking about St. Jude's,
yeah.
yes. And then the Grosley playing field. So it's chalk and cheese if you look at the allocations. You would look at the spend on the Grosley playing field being between 3 and 3.5 million, and then a $20 to $25 million investment in Viewfort. So I'm not sure if he believes that more would be spent on Grosley. I rather suspect that the people have been drinking the juice that we spent $40 million at Grosley.
Yeah. The same way they said a ticket to Japan was 14,000 US. I mean, they throw these figures out there to scare people.
So
just disinformation and misinformation. Let's have the other caller, the last caller. You are our last caller for the day.
Hello?
Yes, good day, sir. Welcome to.
Yes, good day.
Yes.
Good day, Honorable Minister. Good day, everybody else.
Good day.
Honorable Minister, I'm relieved to hear you mention other sports in your message. A long time I haven't heard that. Now, there is other sports like the martial arts who have tremendous benefits to the young people in St. Lucia, even participating in Olympic in Japan.
Yes, sir.
Any plan in going forward in helping in that area? Because one of the things that's affecting us is training avenues or training places in accordance with the World Karate Federation. Any plans to help us, because we are feeling the strain all around St. Lucia as related to that?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. We had a press conference about 2 weeks ago at the Finance Center where we indicated for the first time in St. Lucia's history that we will be hosting combat sports on a Pan-American level right here in St. Lucia next year. We've had to go through, if martial arts, anybody who knows that fraternity would tell you that there have been so many different factions, so many different little associations, so many little things springing up in different communities. So we had to do streamlining in terms of having one umbrella body, much like football. You have the St. Lucia Football Association, and then you have the different leagues, the different associations for other communities. So we've had to do that as it pertains to combat sport. So it's pretty much a combat sports fraternity that we're trying to deal with in terms of the martial arts, in terms of jiu-jitsu, in terms of the other aspects and iterations of that sport. And we as a ministry, through the PS, we have been investing and working in collaboration with the association to spread any sport that you want to develop. You have to have a program in schools. You must have a program in schools. If you do not have some program in the schools, it will just not spread the way you want to. And we've been charging them with the responsibility of getting the programs in schools. We've been helping out in terms of getting the finances for the programs, and we're going to continue to provide that support. So we'll be seeing that implemented on a wider scale next year, and we will be seeing a lot more in terms of combat sport in St. Lucia. As a matter of fact, the number one mixed martial arts female in the Caribbean is from St. Lucia. Did you all know that?
No.
Exactly. So we do have the talent here, we do have the capabilities here, and we'll continue to provide that support for them.
Okay, let's wrap up. Mr. Minister, I'll give you the last word. Talk to your constituents. What's happening in your constituency as we go forward?
Well, thank you so much for having me again. This was not my allotted time, but I made sure I made myself available to come back because there really is so much happening in Grosley. I am not one of those who believe in the back and forth and the actual verbal battles on development. I believe at the end of the day, development has to be tangible. And I believe in the last 4 years, my people can actively point out what I have done in the community to develop it, whether it's through the economics of the community in terms of the actual economy, the works. We have 3 hotels currently being built in Grosley. The playing field, the beach park, all will promote economic activities for
Simple fact.
vending. Yeah, man. For vending. And, I mean, we've really provided as a government a youth economy. And of course, grossly, given that the population have benefited in a large way from the youth economy in terms of support. I mean, so in tourism, we've done a lot. In sport, we've done a lot. In agriculture, we've had some challenges that we did not get to speak to, but we have had some challenges in the Laban area with, certain individuals that were supposed to provide the support, technocrats that, from my information, were not very, very available at the time. But we've moved on from that. I've been given water tanks, providing support for water tanks once the invoice has been provided to me, to our farmers. I mean, in every way, we are about to open the administrative aspect of the fisheries in Grosley. That has been done under my watch as MP. So you could think of every single sector in St. Lucia. Under my watch, we've made some inroads, some more than the other, but we've made some inroads in the constituency of Grosley. And for me, I believe staunchly that the people have seen that. I believe staunchly that the people are more than confident in my abilities and capabilities. When I came in, I was seen as a young man, very green. I was seen as not capable, perhaps not being able to command an audience, or I just read sports. That's all I did before. And now I think people have seen that they've elected somebody who has been well-read, well-versed, has been somebody who's committed himself to youth and sports development for the entire life, and of course have a love and passion for people. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. So when somebody comes out and calls me a rapist and all that sort of thing, I'll just say that's an angry ex-boyfriend. That's me. I'm not somebody who is very, very combative. I mean, I'm somebody who I'm a hugger. I mean, I want people to draw nigh to me and that sort of thing. So you will not find me at any time being, in fights and that sort of thing. I speak about what I've done. What I want to do. I speak about a vision. If you want to come in and you want to have a debate on that vision, that's fine. But you see the dirty politics, the name calling and all of that sort of thing. I believe
innuendo.
Yeah, I believe in being classy. There have been attacks about me in terms of how I have garnered and how I have moved from stage to stage in my life. You would swear I just turned 20 or 21, that I did not work for 20 years, that I did not do things above board to acquire what I did. You would see the attacks day in, day out, and all you would get from me is love. All you would get from me is affection. And all the people of Grosley and St. Lucia, all they're going to get from me is more and more work.
Thank you, Honorable, for clearing that up. It's been a wonderful day. Andre, I'm not making jokes today with you. I mean, I know I know you're under pressure. I know you're feeling it. You're holding on strong. I really admire that.
Andre's a boss.
Andre, I really admire that. You have been strong. You have been holding up in spite of your setback and your loss. And I think the whole of St. Lucia, you are loved, Andre.
Oh, yes.
Andre, you may not know that.
Andre, you are in a seat, man.
Now that you mention it, up to Grosley.
You get it whatever come.
That's remarkable.
When you split the seat, Andre, come.
But you have to be on the right ticket, on the right side.
I hear you.
Red is the mood. So if you do that. So Andre, it's a pleasure being here again, and see you next week.
Pleasure having you, Terry, as always. And Kenson, my old friend.
All the best, Andre.
Thank you, Kenson. Don't run away as yet, because we're still on Facebook, etc. etc. Let me just say goodbye. Okay, so you've been listening to and viewing Meet the Minister, hosted by Terence Fenelon. Listen again and view again next week, Friday, same time from 10 o'clock until 11 in the AM for another Meet the Minister. Well, this is the end of my shift here on Rev-Up Slu for today, Friday, the 12th of September. Coming on next, we have the lovely Kina. She'll be with you until 3 this afternoon. From 3 until 5, going to be Zen the DJ. And then from 5 until 6, Powell Politic with Mary Polio. So have yourself a great day and a safe weekend. Andre Paul saying so long.